ECA, the balance of the ECA currently stands at $2.317 billion. Making the disclosure while briefing State House correspondent at the end of the 83rd monthly National Economic Council meeting, the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, said the chairman of the NGF and governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, made the offer on behalf of his colleagues during the meeting. According to Obaseki, the governors mandated the federal government to take the money from the ECA as their own contribution to the fight against the Boko Haram terrorist group. All right, this is what we'll be discussing. A lot of controversy, like I said earlier, has stemmed from this withdrawal, from militants calling for their own share of the $1 billion deduction from the ECA, and Governor Ayodele Fayose kicking vehemently against this, and the 16 local government chairmen of Ekiti State suing the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the state governors who gave a go-ahead for the withdrawal of this $1 billion. A lot of issues and reactions and counter-reactions from Nigerians. Nigerians asking so many questions. What is happening in the Northeast? Why do we need so much to tackle what was initially described as being technically defeated? You know, they said Boko Haram has been technically defeated, and now we need so much money to now deal with it all over again. Though the federal government has come out to say it is not for insurgency in particular, but for insecurity all over Nigeria. Could this be medicine after death? Our legal practitioners are in the house to bear their minds, and we'll talk about this. Do stay with us. Thank you, Barrister Tunde Kolawole, for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Judith. This is a special edition for Christmas.
Of course.
So we hope the viewers will enjoy it.
I hope so too. Barrister Benjamin Ode is in the house too. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
And Barrister Femi, I know is glad to have you.
Merry Christmas to you and all the viewers.
All right, thank you. Merry Christmas to our esteemed viewers at home watching the program today. It's an honor to know you're there watching us. All right, Barrister Femi, I know $1 billion deduction from the excess crude account. The state governors under the aegis of the NGF did give the federal government to go ahead to withdraw as their contribution in the fight against insurgency in the Northeast. When this came to the fore, what was your initial reaction?
Well, the issue is this. My reaction is neither here nor there, but it's not far-fetched from the reaction of other Nigerians.
Okay.
Because this is quite strange, it's alarming, and it's not consistent with how they've been spending the money all along. Because between 2011 and 2014, some of these states share about 6.2 billion among the 3 tiers of government, including the federal government. And this time around, it is a different approach. But the issue is this. Let's just look at it from a variety of views. Number one, when it comes to the revenue relating to the government, such funds goes normally to consolidated revenue account, and by virtue of Section 80 of the Constitution. And where the government realized that, look, we don't have enough money, or something just come up in the middle within that budgetary allocation, what you do is that the Constitution allowed them to go back to the House by virtue of Section 83 with a supplementary appropriation bill that, look, there is something that crop up. And if you give yourself the benefit of hindsight, during the twilight era of Jonathan government, they needed about $1 billion in order to fight the same people they claim they are using this money to fight. What he did was to approach the National Assembly in order to get approval. What happened thereafter is a different story. It's a different story, and we are up. And even not limited to that, look at it on the flip side again. Anytime we have a budget in this country, since let's just, without going too far, let's take it from 2014 to date. The amount allocated to the military is about 300 billion or more, because they always take the high, because the security of the nation is paramount, and in order to build investor confidence and what have you. It now begs the question whether this money is even not enough to deal with these issues. And what we've been made to believe successively since they took over power is that they've been able to curb the insurgency in the north, and the Boko Haram has been defeated.
And some IDPs returning back home.
There's been a series of rhetorics. Either it's been technically defeated or it's been defeated, and this and that. It is quite obvious with what they are doing that they pay a substantial amount of money in order to rescue these Chibok girls. And if you talk to some of the rank and file military officers, they will tell you that, look, though the government said, promised they've been giving this amount of money, but we don't even see the money. And you will still recall some were actually charged to court for desertion and what have you. And later on, we now realize this money is just being embezzled by some top echelons. And if you look at the Transparency International report, they made it clear that some people are feeding fat on this Boko Haram
issue of terrorism, yes. And
now, you now have this SS scrutiny account, whereby what you did in the past was to share the money among the 3 tiers of government. And suddenly some people just wake up and said, look, 1 billion out of that money should be given. Now, you mentioned Governor Fayose, irrespective of whatever view we have about Governor Fayose, but on this occasion, I think we're on the same page. Because number one, if I'm the governor of that state, you can't reach that sort of decision without making sure the governors are present.
All right, I'll hold it there. We'll still come back to discuss that. Thank you. All right. Vice Benjamin, now the governors are saying, the NGF is saying, this is our own contribution to fight insurgency in the Northeast. They said it's implicit. The spokesperson for that group, Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State, yes, he said that. And now, following the uproar that's generated, $1 billion for insurgency, which you have said has been defeated, so to say. And now the Vice President has come out to say, no, this $1 billion is not solely to fight insurgency in the Northeast. It will be used to tackle security challenges such as, which includes the Boko Haram in the Northeast, kidnapping, small arms trafficking, cattle rustling, clashes between herdsmen and farmers. How did this sit with you?
Well, the truth of the matter was that when we first got the information about this approval given by the Nigerian Governors Forum to the presidency, we were all alarmed. Number one, at the amount of money involved. We are talking of about, if converted to Nigerian naira, we are talking of about over 300 billion naira. At the time when the Nigerian economy is going through what it is going through currently, at a time when Nigerians were dying in droves, Nigerian youth who are struggling and running away from the harsh economic weather of Nigeria, running through the Mediterranean Sea, down to the Sahara Desert, are dying on a daily basis. We were alarmed, as a matter of fact. And again, too, if such amount of money is to be budgeted to fight insurgency and insecurity in the country, I don't think that, in my personal opinion, I don't think that that money is way too much. But I would like to look at the other arm of it. The next question is, how will this money be appropriated? Now, I believe that the Vice President's comment is an afterthought because, number one, when they saw the reaction of Nigerians, they became scared. They now know that, look, what has been happening in Nigeria, or what had happened in Nigeria, that Nigerians are no longer going to be tolerating such things anymore, because it has happened before, and of course this is another occurrence of similar situation. So Nigerians are now tired. Nigerians are now becoming more sensitive to issues like this. Nigerians are beginning to ask questions. Now you are budgeting 20 naira for a particular project. Nigerians now want to know how much this money, or how this money will be dispensed. So, having seen that, the Vice President, in my opinion, decided to give the government a soft landing. I think that is my personal opinion as far as that is concerned. But to say that the sum of 1 billion naira, because let me tell you, the truth of the matter is that security is an ongoing project in any country. The cost of security in any nation is huge. if Nigeria truly were appropriating the sum of 6 billion, like my fellow panelists just mentioned just now, if they were properly appropriating this money, I would like to tell you that the situation we found ourselves in with Boko Haram and other, kind of security around the country wouldn't have been. So in America, for example, you cannot compare the American budget for defense to that of Nigeria, or budget for security to that of Nigeria. It's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. So the issue is that it's not that that money is too much, but of course, in the circumstance, even more so that this is the tail end of 2017. And of course, you and I know that 2018, Nigeria will be entering another year. And of course, the election is around the corner. And we all knew what happened. So, I mean, cause for a great concern. I think that is my take on that.
All right. What's your take, Barrister Kola? Before we listen to the reaction of Governor Ayodele Fayose and former Senate Majority Leader Ali Ndume. All right. What's your take?
Honestly speaking, most of the fundamental issues regarding that disbursement have been said by my colleagues. But the area I would like to look at is the Governors Forum really recognized by the Constitution? It would appear to me that the Governors Forum is alien to the Constitution. When you are looking at the way and manner the funds of the country are to dispense with, there is no function whatsoever for the Governors Forums. Appropriately, it is the executive arm of government through the presidency or thereabout who would make a proposal as regards the revenue of the country. And now he expects to spend the revenue in an appropriation. I mean, the bill he will take to the National Assembly. And then the National Assembly will look at whatever is submitted to it and then pass it into an appropriation law act. And then they begin to disburse the money. So, but for the government to come and say, look, they are making this kind of charity donation for the fight against security in a way, like they have said, is very, very strange. And alien. Even though
it's a good gesture, it seems like a good gesture.
It is a good gesture, but it's very, very alien. The other area I would like to also comment is regarding Governor Fayose. I think Governor Fayose is in a very good state regarding the hues and cries that he has raised. In the past, he may have said something that may not be too palatable, or which all of us may not be too comfortable. But regarding this disbursement, this 1 billion to be given to security and all that, I think Governor Fayose is really saying the truth. But be that as it may, I want us to have an holistic approach to the fight against the Boko Haram. Are we really approaching this fight the way and manner we should really approach it? Or are we just creating a forum for generals and certain persons to begin to feed fat on the nation? For me, I would have accepted, I would have preferred a multifaceted approach to the fight against Boko Haram. First and foremost, when they were negotiating with the so-called Boko Haram insurgency and all that, and like Barrister rightly said, the trading of the cheaper gas for certain things was not done on the platter of gold. I am sure certain concession would have been increasing, releasing some very, very strategic and crucial Boko Haram commanders in exchange for some of these gas. And then we also told you that certain monies also passed under the table. And when that kind of a thing happens, what you are really doing, you are in a way strengthening the arms of the Boko Haram to be able to fight another day. So the resurgence that we have seen in the Boko Haram fight today and all that should not be unexpected, given the horse trading that has taken place in the past. More importantly and more fundamentally, if the resources of the nation is not going to be used, cutting across board, whether the resources of the south or the north or the center is going to be used to fight the Boko Haram, have we really laid the fundamental, what the origins of the Boko Haram, have we really tried to look at how it came about and how we can really curb the excesses of this Boko Haram? In my own humble opinion, the elites in the north are guilty and they are culpable for the creation of Boko Haram. Why do I say this? When you look at our history from independence and all that, the northern elites have always insisted on a theocratic state. They want an Islamic state. And then the southern people have always insisted that we should have a secular state. It is this debate that we have always had through all the constitutional conferences that has led to a situation in which you have two systems of laws operating in this country today. In the south, you have the criminal code, and then in the north, you have the penal code. There is no country in the world that runs two parallel systems of law that's ever been at peace with itself. the situation we are going through in this country today is similar to that of Pakistan. And it is because Pakistan today is experimenting with this kind of two parallel system of laws. So if you are going to fight the Boko Haram and the entire resources of the nation, whether it be from the south or the north, is going to be used to fight it, then we must insist on certain commitment from the other allies.
Right.
That is, they must subscribe themselves to a secular Nigerian state.
Right.
Until the other allies submit themselves to a secular Nigerian state and all that, and then we have a uniform system of law, then you cannot be using the resources of one part of the other, I mean, of one section of the country to fight a creator, to fight the problems that you yourself have created.
Thank you, Barrister Kolawole. I will hold you there. Let's listen to the submission of Governor Ayodele Fayose and also that of the former Senate Majority Leader Ali Ndume, who is saying, Fayose, don't think because everything is peaceful in Ekiti State, don't be selfish. Remember the plight of those in the Northeast, which has been devastated by insurgency. Let's take a look at that report and we'll be right back. Just stay with us. Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose has questioned the federal government's decision to withdraw the sum of $1 billion from the excess-accrued account to fight Boko Haram, saying it is another plan by the APC-led administration to loot the nation's treasury. Governor Fayose, while addressing a news conference in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, dissociated himself and the state from the decision and alleged that the funds were meant to fund President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election in 2019.
Nigerians know that things are not okay within the system. We should demand for the details of the money spent so far. They should make it public.
The governor also challenged the federal government to give account of how previous funds meant for the fight against Boko Haram were expended.
$1 billion is almost an equivalent of what we share as allocation to the 3 tiers of government. I want to make it very clear for posterity that I am not a part of this decision.
36 state governors and the federal government had on Thursday at the National Economic Council meeting gave the federal government the approval to withdraw the sum of $1 billion from the excess-accrued account to fight Boko Haram. Former Senate Majority Leader and Senator representing Borno Central Senatorial District, Ali Ndume, has frowned at the position of the Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose on the proposed $1 billion earmarked for the fight against insurgency. Addressing journalists after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa on Friday, Ndume said the governor was being insensitive to the plight of people of the Northeast. He said that Ekiti State is currently enjoying peace should not derail Governor Fayose's humanitarian census. He said the Northeast geopolitical zone needs more than $9 billion to control insurgency in the volatile area, adding that the $1 billion can only support about $714 million so far spent by internal donor organizations.
Majority are in support. Minority, like the Fayose, what you call him, are against it. So it's normal. The minority can have their say, but the majority will have their way. And we are very hopeful that the Senate or the National Assembly or the process of giving out this money will be actually actualized.
Ndume said that though Governor Fayose is entitled to his opinion is only a minority voice among other governors who approved of the fund due to the level of devastation in the Northeast.